Hi, this is Scout Wilkins, and I had an amazing thing happen a couple of weeks ago. I was down near the north rim of the Grand Canyon at a trading post slash inn slash gas station, one of those everything places at a place called Jacob's Lake. And I had gone there. It's just a couple hours from where I live, and they're famous for their cookies. And all my friends had gone there over the last day or few days, and I decided I'd do a little trip down there and just get a day off and go see what was happening at Jacob's Lake. It's a place I really enjoy. I am not sure how long the trading post has been there at Jacob's Lake. I have to say I had always sort of considered it kind of a rubber tomahawk store, with stuff that's not quite so authentic. But it's one of those places that the deeper you go into the store, the more authentic things get. So I've learned to go into the back rooms, and I love looking at the Navajo rugs and the sand paintings and the jewelry. They've got some amazing things there mostly from the Navajo Nation. And so I was in there and I was admiring a sand painting that was unlike anything I'd ever seen. It was just amazingly done. And there was a young woman sitting in the corner doing some work. She was just, sort of in the rug room. She worked there, but she was just doing some inventory work. And she engaged me in conversation, and it was really a fabulous way. She just started, talking to me and finding out if I had any questions about the rugs or the art. Which, she asked, do you know much about Navajo rugs? And that was an easy, not nearly enough. What can you tell me? And so we started taking the rugs out and looking at the patterns, and she told me about the Four Sacred Mountains pattern. And I learned so many cool things. We talked probably an hour. And she said, man, you really should meet John, the man who owns this place. And boy, I'd love to. She said he offers programs Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And I said, it was a Friday, I think, and it wasn't a program night, but I'm definitely going to go back and do that. But anyhow, not as I was leaving, John walked up, and I came back into the room and learned even more from him. I spent a couple of hours there with him. It was fabulous. It was so interesting. He was born in 1947. His dad owned and ran the trading post and inn and all parts of it. When John was 16, his dad put him in charge of the gift shop trading post part of it, and he's been running it ever since. And so this is a really historic trading post that the Navajo have been bringing their rugs to, and he's at this point, there was a poignant story he told that every year there are 10% fewer rug weavers among the Navajo. And he had thought, just assumed, and it's accurate that it is a part of it, that there's not enough money to be made in it, that old people are dying off, all the sort of predictable reasons. But at one of his presentations, he was telling that, and one of the rug weavers actually said, well, there's a much sort of bigger, deeper reason that we don't have young people coming up weaving these rugs. And it's because, the things they told me about how these rugs are woven, how I don't know if you've ever done a fire walk, but there's a thing about doing a fire walk that when you are standing there at the edge of the fire, you wait until whatever the knowing is that tells you now you can go. And if you go before that, you will burn yourself. It's I've had both experiences, if you're not completely in that yes space, but when you are, you don't burn yourself. And the story they were telling me about the weavers is it's that sort of energy that is in the Navajo weavings, that they don't plan out. They know what they're going to do, but they don't plan it out the way that we might on graph paper and charting it. They ask the, they wait, or they receive the impulse, the energy. They're in beautiful harmony with the process, with life, with the yarn, with themselves. It's just this incredible harmonic that allows this weaving to be done in this way. And the sad part of this story is that they lack the language to teach their children this level of harmony. Because if you know anything about the cultural history, the language was broken when the children were shipped to the boarding schools, and the language, it is what it has been, and that is one of the costs. And so what he's doing now, he's doing what he can do to try to keep more weavers going, get more weavers started, from his point as the trader. What he's doing is he buys every rug that comes in the door, and he has the incredible philosophy that what he's doing is he's buying rugs at a price that will make that weaver want to go home, and in fact go home and weave another rug. He figures that's his purpose as a trader. And this is the piece that I wanted to share, is that he was saying this is what is so often lacking in business these days, in trade, is the understanding that the position of trader, the position of being that middle person, is so important in the overall flow of the process, because if the trader trades in such a way that either party is unsustainable, then everything will go away. It will end. And so he sees his role as being central, literally, to the process of keeping the Navajo rugs being created, being appreciated, being purchased. And so what he's doing is everything he can do to support the Navajo culture and their weaving by making sure that he buys rugs at a price that will get them to go weave another one. And then, of course, he sells them at a price that makes it possible for him to stay in business and for the purchaser to make the decision. So it's just a different way of looking at business and pricing, and a larger purpose to business that I really wanted to share. Thank you for listening.